I'm Wyatt. That's Gary. You're Bob. This is the IT and the D Show.
Welcome back. Thank you once again for hanging out with us. This is the one and only IT and the D Show. I'm your host, Bob Wallenspiel, hanging out with producer, co-host extraordinaire, Randy Walker. Guest this week, it's another one of those we're going to have like half an hour. Half the show's going to be reading off what you do. Zander Van Gogh's in the house. He's the co-founder of No Translation, Detroit native, U of M grad, world traveler, CEO. We're going to have a lot to talk about because you hit a nerve when we talked to you yesterday. And I gotta jump into it right away. But you can find us online, itandthed.com. Do us a favor, give us a like on the socials. Subscribe to us everywhere. Fine podcasts are sold.
Last night was the Ann Arbor meetup, and our next Detroit side meetup is at Bar Louie Royal Oak on Thursday, July 16th.
I won't be there.
Okay, we'll make sure I will be. Hopefully. Thursday, July 16th at 5 o'clock. We're in the back of the bar there in the little private alcove. And we'll be there from 5 until about 8-ish.
I got the Sim Boat Cruise is that day. And I'm like, I kind of have to go to that.
Sure. I just want to be out on the water.
You blame me? It's 102 out. And all three of us have pants on.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on? Hey, Zander, appreciate you coming out. We had you on virtual yesterday and we're like, yeah, you're in Detroit. Let's get you in the studio. So we really appreciate you coming in. Yeah. I gotta peel the Band-Aid off. I gotta dive right in. We've been talking about, we wrote a blog back when this thing's been going on since 2007. We wrote a blog called The Recliner Principle. And you got that cushy job and you're doing well. And there's kind of a lousy TV show on and the remote's right there. And it's too much effort, but it's so comfortable in that damn chair. So you sit in it. And what I'm talking about is having a really good job and being comfortable and thinking you made it. And you did that. You were here in Detroit, you were working for LinkedIn and you decided to make the leap. Like what was that were you shot out of a cannon? Did you get an opportunity you couldn't, how did you jump from really good job, which most of us and not to say we're all jealous, but all of us are like one day or another, we're like, God, we should start our own thing. Everyone I've known. And, I meet with the top reps from the top software companies and IT companies you'd ever, they're like, you guys are thinking about, so, talk to me about that leap and then we can kind of work backwards.
Yeah, the leap. So August 2024, I decided to leave LinkedIn. I always had this goal in my head that I wanted to do just 7 years. I don't know why 7 just feels like a good number of completion for me.
While I was 5.
Yeah. Some people say 5.
4 companies, 5 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Some people say that. For me, 7 is kind of that number. And I was ready to do something different. I was at LinkedIn. I started off I got recruited to LinkedIn to do sales. So I started off in sales. I did that for about 2 years. Then I had an opportunity inside of it to actually create some content. And we had just launched video on LinkedIn at the time. And I just had this idea that we had so much business data. And it was we could be the Vice of everything business.
Right.
Why are we not creating this content? Created some videos. I sent it off to the entire Chicago office at the time. It went viral on LinkedIn. Next thing I know, 6 months later, I get transferred over to engineering to do content technology engineering and lead strategy.
Okay.
Then 2 years after that, I get tapped to lead the creator team over at LinkedIn. So the first ever creator team, now community management. And then I ended up running Top Voices program as well too, which is your big CEOs or whomever, and just teaching them how to use a platform to create content and share their perspective. And you're right. It was a great role. My team was all over the world. I traveled all over.
Yeah.
I was remote in Detroit, especially because of COVID. That's why I came home.
Sure.
And I just knew there was something more. I knew there was more that I wanted. I didn't necessarily want to go into management at LinkedIn, but there was something else that was itching in me. So I actually took the leap, and then I decided to travel the world for about a year, and I went to 50 countries in a year.
All right. 50 countries in a year. It's a country a week.
Yeah.
Were you in, you're not talking drive-throughs. You spent the night in 50 countries in a year.
Yeah.
So how the hell do you even plan that?
So it started off
backpacking hostels, or I'm being funny, but I'm not.
And what's funny about it is that the way I did it, when I look back on that year, it was nuts. I went to the Super Bowl. I lived in
Are you counting this country as one of the countries?
This was one of the countries, sure. But I only did. But we
Do we give him that one? Do we say 49? Okay.
Sure.
Puerto Rico, it's fine.
Yeah,
I'll allow it.
absolutely.
I'll allow it.
So I mean, like, to be fair, actually, I doubled back on like 8 countries. So it wasn't just 50 and one a week. It was like I hit Bali twice. I was in Thailand twice. I went to Japan 3 times. I was in Dubai twice. I went to Amsterdam 3 times. Spain, like I lived in Spain and was there.
Now you're just doing like croissants and coffee. You doing work or what?
Work.
Okay.
So I was out, and at the time it was like, well, what would it be like? I managed all these creators and top voices. Could this be something that I could actually do for myself? Was the thought. I realized quickly.
I gotta stop you real quick because here's the fear. Guys like me that have worked for the big companies, and we've seen people do this.
Yep.
And they leap.
Yep.
And 2 years later, it shits the bed, and they come crawling back and they get the job at Salesforce or what? Pick one
for sure.
And they're like, oh, didn't make it, and you got to rear your head.
Yeah.
I mean, is that in the back of your mind this whole time?
Kind of. I mean, I think in the back of my mind, it was like I worked at LinkedIn.
We all got self-doubt. I'm just saying. I know everyone jumps into it. Everyone, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And I think it wasn't self-doubt. I think it was just more of the fact that like, yo, I worked in engineering, product, and sales at one of the top tech companies in the world.
Yeah.
If I want to go get another tech job, I can go get one.
Fair.
So, but the idea of like, yo, I have this thing burning in me right now to go and do something different. Let's see what happens. And if it doesn't necessarily work out, all right, we double back and we try again. I mean, most entrepreneurs, don't necessarily hit it out the park the first time they go. And I think that's a misconception. People think that like you have to be so ready and that you end up going into entrepreneurship, whether it's in IT, something creative, finance, whatever the case may be, and that like your first hit shorty. It don't happen like that sometimes.
No, most of them 6, 7, like people don't realize like went through,
It takes time. It's a progress. And even like what we would say with content creation in general, as you guys know, you guys are just in here shooting the shit, right? Like it's progression over perfection. So it's like, yo, I got to start somewhere. If I ever want to run my own company and do something big, there may be some hurdles along the way that's actually going to be maybe a couple failures.
Sure.
But you have to look at those failures different, where they're not failures, they're lessons. They're things along the way so that the next time you go into something, you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from a certain checkpoint. Right. So it's the same thing with me, like in terms of going back to tech. It's like if I start in tech again, like I'm not going to start at an entry level. Like there's a certain threshold that I'm going to be at because of the experience that I have.
It's, and I kind of pride myself on saying storytelling is my thing. And it's like having that story. Hey, took a leap, I'm going on a journey.
Exactly.
Either finding myself, finding my net. You know what I mean? So it's not like you just go, I went golfing a lot and, it's a thing.
It's a thing. And I mean, even if you I think because for me, it wasn't necessarily going to 50 countries in a year wasn't the goal at first.
Right.
The goal was just like, hey, I've always wanted to live overseas and I've never done it. Right now, this makes sense. Our government is about to be in flux because this is September of 2024. So this is right before election.
Yep.
So it's like, I don't necessarily know how things are going to shake out. AI is coming down the pipe. Companies are laying people off a little bit, left and right.
A little bit, yeah.
Let's see what happens. Let me just go live overseas for 3 months.
Well, those videos of like, I'm living in Thailand for $600 a month. And I'm like, no, you're not. And then you watch it. And
it is.
Like, and you look and
it is.
Right?
Yep.
Like
it is.
Groceries, like everything is just,
Yeah.
I'm like, then you think about it going, God, if I didn't have like all this stuff tied down, that would be a great retirement just to like, it's a beautiful life. The misconceptions of some of these countries is, you know what I mean?
It is.
What you see on,
It is. People think a lot of this stuff is third world countries and it's not. People are people everywhere. We're all doing the same thing and want the same things in life. And what I concluded from it was that I've always, and my plan is to have locations around the world that I travel through seasons, even when I have a family. Like that's the goal.
As long as you don't say I'm summering here and
I chase hot weather. Like I'm not going to lie. Like this today, I know it's like 100 degrees outside in the D, but this is amazing. Like for me, this is great. Like I love this. If I don't have to see snow ever again, I'm cool. Unless it's in a mountain in like Switzerland or something.
You're talking to a fat Michigan book.
Hey man, I get you, bro. I get you. We all need that hibernation time, baby.
See, in the winter, I can put on a coat. I can't peel anything else off. Like I'm stuck.
So it's a bad country when there's a movie about that country and everything has like a yellow tint to it when they visit
I get you.
scenes in that country.
I understand.
The yellow tint.
You've never noticed that the sky is kind of yellow, the buildings all look yellow, like you see a cityscape and it's got like a yellow tint overlaid on the video.
No, you got to show me. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Like old Godzilla. Like that's all I'm thinking about when you say that. Oh,
Like they'll go to Mexico or whatever and everything's yellow. And then, or like
the Robert Rodriguez movies. They always have that. Yeah.
But then they're back in the US and everything's bright blue.
Right.
It's super crazy, yeah. But long story short, I left in September. By the time I got to December, I had been to 18 countries. So when I looked up and did the math, I was like, yo, like.
Now you're amassing friends in a network. And
absolutely. Yeah. So when I was out there in Europe for the first 3 months, through those 18 countries, I did like 12 photo shoots. So I met different photographers, videographers, met people, made community, friends. I was going to listen to different DJs. So when I was at Michigan, I DJ'd in Chicago for a few years as well too. So
like real DJ, not like what I did at the Post
like
Bar.
I DJ'd at some of the bigger clubs and stuff like that. Like it was cool. And when I was there, I was amassing this network and meeting all these people around the world. And like what I like to tell people is that like I got my master's in the world or I got a PhD in the world. Because I was really debating on, do I want to go get an MBA? But when you're at a company like LinkedIn, or if you've worked like a Microsoft, or let's even say like a Salesforce, you start to notice that the people that work there, they tend to go to these other organizations and they tend to become managers, directors, VPs, and a lot of them become CEOs. Sure. So what you normally would get from like going to an MBA at like a Michigan or something, it's your network, right? And 100%. It's your classmates that leave. But when you're at a company like a LinkedIn for 7-8 years and you make really good relationships, it's very similar.
I finally got to a company where I can put X the company, which I'll never do. Exactly. Because like everyone went to Google always put X Google.
Oh yeah, but
any other
brand association, baby, it matters.
Right? But like other companies, like no one put X. Maybe a couple of people X AWS, X Microsoft. I don't see it much, but you know, once you get to the top, like right now, like in my field, I'm at the top. But if I ever leave, I'm not putting. I don't know. Maybe call me crazy.
X John's Corner Computer Repair and.
You should do that. You should do that.
You should do it. I mean, I think it's one of those things about a network, and I think when you're in IT, especially nowadays, it's not just about who you know, but it's about who knows you. And it doesn't necessarily just mean like your name. Did you steal that
from us?
Nah, man, that's just something I live by, G. That's something I live by.
All right, so we used to do our speech on the 10 Commandments of networking.
Okay.
And I love that you just said that because we used to always say it's not, it's who you know. And then we flipped it. Was it last year? And we said it's who
earlier
knows,
this year.
It's who knows you.
It's who knows you.
I go, that's the mic drop moment because, like, you can, if you're out of work right now, every recruiter in town's your best friend.
Exactly.
But like, if they vouch for you, that's the game changer. I love that.
It is, and that's exactly it. It's like, so to be able to have that type of association with whatever it is that you're doing, I appreciate you. I think that is super key. So when I had that, it was like, well, what do I really want to go do? And it was like, man, I really want to go travel the world and just see what it's like to live in other places and get a good perspective on like, where are the places that I would want to go and invest?
Sure.
And that's was kind of the knowledge that I gained from that. And now I have like my 5 places, and then I have my place that I definitely want to be for like the next 7 years to build community off of visiting as much as I did.
So when you're out there and like, who knows you? Like, I know what my brand is. I'm very concise. I'm very tight with what my brand is, what I'm good at, and what I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, what was, when you were out there, what was, what were you pitching? Like, this is my brand. This is what I'm good at.
I think the biggest thing was honestly just being a really good person that knew how to figure things out. Because when you're in other countries, like, you rarely get the question, like, what do you do? Fair. People don't care about that for real in other countries. No, they don't.
Japan,
really care.
I think they do.
Ish.
Okay. Because I worked for a Japanese company, and the whole business card and looking at your title and acknowledging and being like impressed.
Yeah.
Very big part of their culture.
But there's 2 sides of that, because it's like, that's the business side. But if you're in the street side, it's about how you present yourself. Because in Japan, fashion is huge.
Oh, 100%.
Everybody is super fly
100%.
when you're on the street. So like, if you dress really well and you dress cool, like I remember just going into certain clubs like One Oak and just walking to the front and being like, hey, like I know this guy, and because of how I'm dressed, they're like, oh yeah, automatically you can get in. And it's like, okay, cool. So I think it's a little bit of both. And for me, because I've always played on both sides of like, with my friends that I went to Michigan at or went to LinkedIn, they looked at me as like the super creative kid. But then with my creative friends, they look at me as a super business kid because I went to Michigan and I worked at LinkedIn and did all these other things. So I could play a little bit of both sides.
My IT friends think I'm an idiot. My firefighter friends think I'm Bill Gates.
You feel me? Yeah, so it's cool.
The intersection, man. Exactly. The Venn diagram.
Exactly. So when I traveled, I think what people were more interested in was that like, oh man, you have a really cool story and you're traveling to 50 countries in a year. Like, I've never met anybody that has like tried to do that before. And I hadn't either. And it's the reason why.
Did you cry a lot? Did you, obviously with you said photography. Were you writing? Were you documenting the journey? Like this is like book This is like book stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. I documented everything.
Okay.
What I realized moving through it though was that it's really hard to live when you're trying to document everything. It's very difficult.
All you're thinking about is pushing content.
All you're thinking about is pushing content. And as I started to even read about some of these creators that were doing really well, it was one or two things. It was either they may have taken one trip a month and then the rest of the month they were editing content and pushing content out.
Oh my God.
Or they had a team behind them where they were just going, the team was recording, doing most of the writing and pushing things out.
Yeah.
So for me, I was like in that in-between phase where it was like, man, I'm here by myself. I know how to do it. I do have some budget to do things, but like I did this because I wanted to live. I did this because I wanted to learn. I did this because I wanted to like actually be able to on any given day say like, hey man, I'm about to pull up to France. Yo, I'm pulling up tomorrow. Can you come get me from the airport? And then like, yo, can we go meet up with our homies down the street and just tell them about some of the things I got going or why I want to hang out? Does anybody want to go do this? And that was what I think I was really able to accomplish to like now I have like a legit, authentic worldwide network. And it's not just like people in business that just want to work with me to do things. It's like, nah, like even today, one of my fraternity brothers, he's in Barcelona and I was able to like give him my keys to my apartment and he's in my apartment. And then I was able to connect him with 4 people that are really good friends of mine. And he's like, man, I've never been here before. This is dope. Everything's set up. And I have 4 of my homies that are just really good friends that are going to meet up with him in the next 2 days. And it's like, you don't really get that always from working a job. You don't really get that always from just creating content. But when you go to places and you really develop real relationships, that's where those things come into play.
Hey, my guy's coming to town, take care of me.
Exactly.
I mean, I got that in 2 countries. You got me beat. So
I got a few under my belt, man.
I always thought it was cool getting like a happy birthday from Japan.
Yeah.
It's cool.
And,
It's cool.
Or like my cousin will wish me something in German, like on Facebook. I'm like, someone spoke another language. My wife's 100% Polish, so like her cousin will like send me, especially when we go to like a Polish restaurant or something, he'll always write in Polish. But it's great though.
It's amazing. That was
now,
actually
language wise.
Yeah.
Did you ever like how far did you get in any of the languages?
Oh, so I'm learning 8 languages right now. So that was like the biggest thing that I really took away. I think it's 9. I'm learning 9 languages right now.
Using Duolingo?
Yeah. So I use Duolingo to start because with Duolingo, what's really interesting about the accessibility of it is that all the lessons are pretty much the same when you start at the same time.
Yeah.
So you just have different languages, but they're giving you the same situations. So if you are a person that like me picks up on patterns really quickly, it's easy to switch in and out of the languages. But the kicker though is that like I go to these countries. So like I'm in Spain, I'm in Germany, I'm in France, I'm in Latin America. I go to Italy, I go to Japan, China, I'm in Russia. Well, not Russia right now, but most of these countries I actually go to. So I get the opportunity to be immersed, even if it's just for a week or two.
Sure.
The things that I'm practicing every day, I start to hear. So I was even telling the other day, like I went to Oktoberfest last year for the first time and learning German during that time. And then just hearing people say the words, it was like, oh, Prost, like, let's go. Like we're outside.
I lived, my parents were dual speaking.
Yep.
My grandparents didn't know English at all.
Okay.
I learned it in high school.
Fire.
I never heard the phrase water closet before.
Oh, wow.
My first foray into a beer garden. I love the story. I'm walking around going, and do you ever go to a German house? There's 2 bathrooms. There's where you go to the toilet and then across the hall is the bath and the sink.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wo ist der Badezimmer bitte? Like, where's the bathroom, please? And they're looking at me sideways. And I'm like, and I'm now being proper. I'm like, Entschuldigung, bitte, excuse me, please. Wo ist der Badezimmer? And they're looking at me. And finally I started getting frustrated after like the 4th one. And I just yelled, that I got to piss as loud as like, ich muss pissen gehen. Like it's an angry language as it is. And the guy points at WC and I'm like, was ist a WC? And he goes, water closet. I go,
yeah.
Oh my God. I was like, literally. And then after that, I'm like, I was literally like, because you don't pick up on the slang. When you learn it out of a book, you can't,
Yeah.
Now I'm at the point where I can speak fairly deep. I was 20, 22.
Absolutely.
But like picking up on those slang words will differentiate you from just, and being apologetic.
Yep.
Like I always say, when I walk in, I'm like, hey, I say it in German. I go, I'm from America. Do you know English? I'm sorry, my German isn't very good. And they're always like, oh no, your German's great. And they'll talk English with me.
Like wunderbar.
Right. Like, no, your German's great. Like, and then they just want to speak English with you. But like instead of just walking in going, don't you know what I'm saying? And like,
No.
You're apologetic and you're polite, and you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you can pretty much get anywhere.
But look, now let me tell you, that is the reason I started to learn the languages, because what I realized was that when I would go to any country, like I remember being in Serbia and just learning how to say thank you and asking people how to say certain words in their language. I had grandmothers open up their homes and cook me dinner, and people were just like more interested. Game? Yeah. So I went to a basketball game in South Korea, actually, professional basketball
Serbia,
game.
because that's
no,
like
I didn't, but I know it's crazy.
That's like
with
British
the fire,
soccer.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. I didn't get to do that, but like, I just noticed so much that when you really try to understand people for where they were at, especially when you're in their country
100%.
For their culture, they already are interested in you so much because you're different.
Yeah.
But then you show them that like you're cool with trying to be what is normal there. Oh man, they're so open to teaching you, showing you everything because they're proud of who they are. Yeah. And it's a different thing. So for me, I really learned that like communication and understanding of people is probably the biggest thing you can really do to make someone not just feel special, but to make them feel like they're part of your community.
It's the same. I don't want to translate it back to business, but it's the same. It's being inquisitive, and asking good questions, and then kind of throwing a story in, like, oh, it's kind of crazy back home. This is the way we do it, but like, tell me more about that. You know, it's no different than me sitting here with you right now. Like, love what you said. Tell me more about. You know what I mean? As long as that's just a people thing.
It is, and that's what you realize when you travel is that like people are people everywhere. We all want the same things. There's no real difference.
Good food, good friends. Leave me alone.
Yep. And like, yo, I want to kick it today. Like, where can we meet some cool people? Like, that's really the formula of, I think, humanity. It's like, how can we be connected and how can we feel happy?
My favorite story going on right now, I don't know if you've been following it, is all the people from like Korea and Europe that are like finding Buc-ee's or finding
ranch dressing,
biscuits and gravy, free refills.
So
the biscuits and gravy thing, that could be like the world peace glue.
Could be.
Just start serving biscuits and gravy in different countries. But like just the fact that we're like, if you just not, I have an old boss that he says, like, just turn the news off and lay off social for a minute.
For sure.
And you'll realize the world's not as complicated.
That's really not.
Like, just, don't you dare go on Reddit. You'll think there's World War III going on, and then you sit and talk to people, and you're like,
it's normal. It's normal.
Yeah.
And that's the reason I think, like, as I went on that journey, I just, after the first month and a half, I was like, man, you know what? I'll save this content for a later day. Maybe we make a documentary, maybe we write a book, maybe we do something later. But right now, like, it's about experiencing what's happening while you really can experience it and really be so engaged in a way that people not only find you interesting, but they just want to know more about you because you're doing something that's probably very different from their day.
This is kind of my philosophy, kind of not, but like when you're talking, when you meet people, like, I'm not going to blurt out to you, I really like Flash Gordon's my favorite movie, because you're going to look at me like, this guy's a freaking weirdo. Like, but if I, through general questions, if I find out you're into sci-fi, we're going to go as far as we can go. Then we find out that we're both into like local food and cuisine, and then we'll go into, but if we can find 3 things, like, I think you can have a friendship. Like, if you have 10, you have a best friend.
For sure.
But it's that going through that, so like, I always tell this story. My wife got a new job, and I'm sitting with like 15 doctors that she's working with now, and it's a Christmas party, and I could just sit there and I like, what am I supposed to do? And all of a sudden, the guy said something about this burger he had.
Yep.
Hey, have you tried? Just no different than and he starts going, yeah. I go, try this one if you haven't. And then I said, I got lists. Yeah. Let me see your list. Now I got 8 doctors over, like, where's the go-to for pizza? Now we're like, all of a sudden you're holding court and you don't even realize it, with complete strangers 10 minutes ago. Yeah. And it just, guys are easy. That's the thing, like food, what's on Netflix. You know what I mean?
Talk about anything.
Yeah.
Women.
Right.
Whatever.
Women, game on TV. You know what I mean? Like, even if I'm not into like car racing, I'm like I'll notice someone that's into it and I'll go, what's going on here? I had, the first U.S. game that was at the bar, me and my friend went.
Okay, was that
and we were all up in the game, and we were winning like 4-0. And a guy comes up that was shooting pool, and he goes, "Hey, is this team really bad?" And I go, "Not at this stage. They've been fighting for 4 years to get to here. There is no bad team right now." And he goes, "Oh," and he asked a couple questions. But now we got this thing where he was inquisitive about something he knew I was passionate about. To me, that's the key to it. And it sounds like you hit on that too.
Yeah, it's a genuine curiosity you have to have just about people, the world. And I think as you go through life with that, you realize how easy it is to build relationships. And I think that's what takes you far, whether that's business, life, family.
Yeah,
it's just
but you got to be genuine. Here's the thing: like I could see you do it, but being genuine about it, not contrived. You're not trying to get something. You're not trying to, genuine.
It is. You have to understand that like life comes in cycles, right? Like everybody's gonna have their highs, they're gonna have their lows, they're gonna have their valleys. It's gonna be times where you're just gonna be on a streak, man. Like when I was going to 50 countries, man, I felt like the man on top of the world. It was different. Like everything was just working. And then at some point, like you have bumps where you have to actually figure things out, get knocked down, learn the lesson from it, and then come back at a higher checkpoint to achieve something greater. So like even the whole time where I was doing this whole thing, it was like, well, what am I going to get from this? I don't know. I really don't understand exactly what's going to come from it, but I haven't met anybody that's done this before.
Yeah.
And at this scale. So I know whatever's going to come, as long as I stick with it and keep going, something's going to hit major.
Those networking events, on that. Those networking events Randy and I do and the job fairs and help him, I had it happen to me Monday where I had dinner with a pretty, and he goes, "You guys never made money on that?" And he looked at me sideways. I go, "Absolutely not. Why would I?" I go, "I'd be out anyway."
Yeah.
I go, I will do this every month if I know one person found a job at my event.
For sure. Absolutely.
Like, you don't realize that what that does for someone's family. He kind of looks at me sideways again. And I'm like, not everyone has to
But we live in America. It's capitalism. Everything is about money.
But we both got good jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like if I was going to make a couple bucks on side hustle, like, you know what I mean? What would that have, anyway, you know what I'm getting at.
I do. 100%.
So feel every show we got to talk about AI, but like, your venture now, no translation, how were you when AI started? Because I know how I was. We talk about it all the time. We used it as super Google and we're like, it's fine. Today, different animal now that we're going agents. Were you all in, dice, let's go?
Yeah.
Were you kind of dabbling? Like,
I was all in. I was all in 2023. And I was all in when I was at LinkedIn, actually. And primarily because like I am a very good spark plug. I'm a starter. So like I get the ideas. I know the vision. I know exactly how to build it from 0 to 1. But I've always been like this since I've been a kid. When I get it and I understand it and I do it really, 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 really well 1 or 2 times, I'm bored. I'm over it. So with AI, what happens is I get a lot of ideas because of that though. Like I don't know if it's not diagnosed ADHD, but I'm the type of person that's doing 7 or 8 things at once.
I think we all are ADHD.
Yeah, to some degree.
Need the shirt. Like, undiagnosed, but pretty sure.
Yeah.
So it's just like, all right, cool. So I was using AI a lot because the funny thing about our team was that while we were inside a product on the community management side and even for Top Voices, we were ran by editorial. So my bosses were like editors for like CNN before, stuff like that. So it was like, there was a point in time where like one of the reasons that I ended up like making a transition from LinkedIn too was that like I was being graded more on like how I wrote as opposed to the work I was doing.
Okay.
And it was just kind of like, okay, like I'm not a journalist. This is not what I signed up for. We just happen to be in this org doing this type of work. So I was using AI quite a bit to kind of help not just refine thoughts, but even like automate some of the stuff that I was doing day to day, whether that was like communications or whether it was like editing video and things like that. Now, when I traveled, that's when I really unlocked it. That was super dope because people ask me all the time, like, what was a place that you just had a terrible trip? I didn't have one. And primarily it was because I was using ChatGPT at the time and I was giving it all of the things that I really wanted out of locations in terms of what would allow me to be most efficient, from learning to producing content to seeing the things I wanted to see and how I wanted to learn them. And it was putting me in great situations every single time. And it was like, yo, this is dope. So I pretty much planned my entire 50 country trip through using ChatGPT.
So mine is dive bars near me, sort by lowest rating, start there, talk to the locals. I've never had a bad trip.
Never had a bad trip, baby. Never.
No, but I get that though, because like we're doing Germany for the Lions.
Yep.
I've been there.
Same. I'll be there too.
I've been there. I haven't spent too much time, and I'll connect. I'll make sure you have my number before we get out of here. My buddy's been there once with me 25 years ago.
Nice.
And so, but I haven't spent a lot of time in Munich proper. I got
Munich's
family
a fun time.
I got family in Austria and the outskirts and small cities.
Yep.
So I'm like, I got to make sure he's good because we're just staying in Munich.
It's fun, man. Munich is a very, side note, Munich is very Michigan-like, ironically.
How so?
It is. Everybody in Munich, usually the people that are older that live there, they grew up in Munich and they're from there. You don't get a lot of people, like Berlin is like a big city where you may get transplants. Munich's not really like that. It is very homegrown. The people that are there. Maybe they went off for college, but they came back. But
interesting.
80% of the people that live in Munich are from Munich and they grew up there.
And I found a hotel called the Bob W.
Oh,
and I'm like, that's apropos,
that's
man.
you, baby.
I go, well, that's the interesting thing is these hotels. It's like it's digital only.
Yep.
There's nobody working there, and so I'm like, I do not want to sleep in the park, so I got to buy like 4 brick chargers just to make sure my phone doesn't die. But yeah, I kind of planned the trip. Like the way I like to travel, like me and my wife will go to like a random city, New York, for example. So I'll have one thing to do during the day, go to Central Park, and then where to eat dinner, and then something at night where either we get tickets or we just go bar hop.
Yeah.
And so like, well, so like I said, all right, I need something during the day, and I need like 5 great places I need to eat. Right. And we did that in Ireland. We went for St. Patrick's Day.
Fire.
So like, I need what's the best restaurant in Dublin for like that one, cause we like street meat and picking, but like I need one good steak. And they're like Irish grass-fed beef
Just where you
steak.
gotta go.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was the same thing. Like I need 10 bars that, and so we went to this place like built in 1100s. It was a Viking outpost.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you just sit there and you're just staring at the walls going,
absolutely,
like the history, like you can't comprehend that living just here.
No.
Like,
absolutely.
Like the history of the places you went, like, but like I saw, what's the resort? It's the Four Seasons in Bora Bora. I just saw a video on that. And it's like that carved out huts. I think it's like $7,000 a head, 15 grand. But if you think about it in the grand scheme of things, it's not. And I'm like, yeah, that'd be like these trips of a lifetime.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think like the same thing with me, it was interesting because what I was running into was what you mentioned as well, like Chat GPT and AI would give me options, but then I would use it as like pre-approach, as we would say in sales.
Yeah.
So I would take all this information, have it, I would go to the first spot, and then I would talk to people.
Yep. And
then I would use that information in order to like find those commonalities and start conversation and be like, yo, I heard about this spot and this spot.
And
they're
like,
like
nah.
really what it is. They're like, that one's good, but this one, nah, you should try here instead.
Yeah.
This is your vibe. And it would just make things so much easier to actually really connect. And now the other thing I had that I thought was really interesting, I used these a lot. So I had got the Meta glasses in September of 2024, right before I left, right when the new editions came out.
Okay.
And obviously like, I got them as a gift, and the person who got them from me was definitely for like pictures and video while like I'm on the way. But the most important part of them was that the AI was built in. So I would be walking around and I would say, hey, Meta, like, can you take a picture of this building? And it would take a picture and I'd be like, yo, what building is this? And it would tell me what the building is like. Oh, it looks like you might be here. Is this where you're at? I'm like, yes. Can you give me information on where I'm at? And it would just basically be my tour guide the whole way.
I love it and I hate it at the same time.
I know it's a little scary, it's a little scary, it's a little like wild. But when I tell you, like, I was just always, I was never alone. And sometimes I think being alone is a good thing. But when you're traveling solo, that gave me not even a sense of comfort, but it gave me a sense of understanding that I think was like very good for me during that time as well.
You find yourself.
Yeah, it's easy.
I drove in a Waymo 2 weeks ago for the first time.
How was that?
When I got there, I saw them everywhere, and I'm like, you won't catch me dead on one of these things. I'm like, I'm going to end up in a shipping container in Singapore. I've seen Silicon Valley too many times, the TV show. And then after about the last one, I'm with one of the executives, and he goes, Bob, come on, I'm going to order a Waymo. We're going to go to the, and I said, I would not. It's kind of like if you're with an executive and says we're going to eat whatever, you just say I'll give it a try. And I want to make sure there's a whiskey and a beer next to me, just in case. Right. But you never I had to do that in Japan. Like I had to run the gamut in Japan.
Yeah.
Made sure I had a sake and a whiskey and a beer in front of me if it was bad.
Soju.
Yeah. It was euphoric when I left.
Yeah.
Because then he's like, make sure apparently the luggage went to the airport because he didn't, and I had my luggage in the back. So it was the last day. But he's like, they don't leave now until you tell it to leave.
Yep.
Because they kind of wrote. But here's how my brain thinks. I'm curious how your brain thinks. When I'm sitting in this thing, I'm riding shotgun and I'm filming because like this is pretty wild. And I'm thinking about, my brain goes right in, and I'm not a coder by any stretch, but I've been around IT my whole life. And I'm thinking about software decision tree, what's going on around me. And I'm not worried about the ride. I'm worried about what is this thing saying it to itself. So I joke to the back, I go, it's just a guy in the Philippines with a VR goggles driving, right? So of course he starts laughing. But like as we're making a left, no light, traffic's coming. San Francisco's wild because there's e-bikes, there's Lime scooters, pedestrians everywhere. And this thing's trying to go left when there's no green light. And, these e-bikes are flipping through, and it went through. And I was like, just what it had to go through to make that decision. I'm like walking out of it, just mind boggled. And he's like, what, he goes, what do you, the look on your face? I go, just the fact that thing did what it did.
Smart. It's intelligence. I mean, I look at walking in Chicago on the West Loop recently, and you see all the Cocos that are like delivering the food. Yeah. And they're the small little things, and they're really cute. Like, people really want to help them because like West Loop is busy. There's so many people walking around, and these little things are like stopping, being polite, waiting on people to go and trying to get across the street. And to see it like just kind of skedaddle its way across. And it's like, wow, you really figured that out. And you don't have eyes, ears, nothing. You just are sensor based.
Have you seen the videos of the delivery drones?
Yeah, I've seen those too. But those are like, they've been using those in China for years.
The decibel level's insane.
It's pretty
They're
crazy.
not. Because I was like, first I saw the story of people bitching about it, and I go, oh, people in Romulus complaining about planes. And then I saw a video, and I'm like,
they're loud.
That's loud.
They're loud,
and if it's
for sure.
buzzing low, I live over close to Selfridge, and once in a while the F-16s will hit, and you're like, whoa, and you look up. I could all day. That would. So, but here's the thing: like, it brings me down to like a technology question, like the little Cocos or whatever. Like, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Like,
of course,
drone delivery. Like, is it really that tough to have a van loaded up, leaving in the morning? Is it really tough to have a guy on a bike delivering my food?
No.
Like, are they doing it just to, and then in my day job, I'm in manufacturing, and all anyone talks about is lights out plants with humanoids.
For sure.
And I'm just looking at it going, really? Like, is this just because we can just mean we should? Like, are you embracing like everything? Are you like, is there anything you're red lighting?
No, I mean, and what we do at North Translation, our enterprise product is that we build programs to help some of these mid-market organizations in the Midwest. So anything between like 2,000 and 10,000 employees.
Because they don't get the love from the big boys.
It's not that they don't get the love from the big boys. I just think the Midwest is the slowest to adopt when it comes to technology
100%.
Usually. And when it comes to mid-market.
Fashion, music, it's everything.
Yeah, it's everything. But then mid-market is also like, they're in that weird phase where like they're not really enterprise. So like they don't necessarily have everybody that knows everything, but they spend money to keep up because they want to get to enterprise. So they'll have already bought maybe the Claude licenses or the Copilot licenses, but they don't actually have the people inside to create the trainings for that because they never done that before. Like
adoption's the
worst
part.
Is the worst part. So what I'm seeing is just like, even within my own self, it's like there's some things that I'm using it for, but you have to realize that like these AIs are not here to replace, they're tools like everything else. And it's like, what are you good at in your toolkit? Like, if you are a right-handed batter, you're a right-handed batter. You're not going to switch hit. But if you're a switch hitter, you can switch it depending on the situation. So it's just like, you have to understand what fits within not just your skill set, but then also what fits to your style, your taste, your characteristics. And right now is just so much information being thrown at everybody that it's hard to have a sense of discernment to know what really works for you, because we're all just, everybody, whether you're 5 or you're 65, we're all learning at the same time.
100%.
And that's what makes this so unique in such a different era of like life. It's .com all over again. This is essentially what it is.
The AI is to me, it's the easy part. It's the business process catching up with IT.
Yep.
My
and
guy,
security too.
100%. My guy was one of the speakers at Databricks, San Francisco. And he basically said, inserting agents into a data engineer's life, we can get 16 hours out of the work week. And he goes, but at the end he goes, now what's the business going to do about this?
Yep.
Are you going to move fast? So I think that, to me, at least, everything that I'm seeing implementing AI is, that's great that you saved somebody 2 hours a week putting in Copilot.
Yeah.
But like, are you moving faster? Are the business, so like, how are you tackling it from a business angle, from a tech angle, or from an all in angle? Like, wow, how do you approach when you're going in and talking about AI adoption? Because again, there's people they're getting so much thrown at them. Of
course.
Like good information, bad information, they can't discern.
Of course. And I think the other thing is that like the point of AI is to help you make faster decisions. But when you have so much information, you kind of become paralyzed. It's hard to make a decision because you're trying to make sure that everything is correct, depending on what you're using. So we come in from just a business perspective of like getting people used to adopting the technology into their day-to-day routines. Now, what that's going to look like is depending on your position. Like if you're an implementation consultant, you're not going to use Claude Code the same way an engineer would use it. So it's all about actually figuring out what are the actual bottlenecks that you actually have within your job that can be released based on this is always going to be a part of the routine or the day-to-day company repository. There's always a routine or a way of doing things that this happens. And that's where we kind of try to implement AI. But what we try to do is make it to where like the human is still in the driver's seat.
100%.
They are still the ones that make the decisions. It's like, even when you get this output from AI, the reason you're here is because you have a certain level of expertise and a certain eye and a certain taste to where you know if this is actually going to land with your CEO. So you still need to review it. Yep. You just can't do it and let it go and not actually go through and monitor what's actually happening. So we deploy our programs in that way to where it's like, hey, okay, you guys have spent this much amount of money. How many of your people are actually using this in their day-to-day? And then not just how much time are they saving, but how much stress are they relieving? How more connected do they feel to the rest of their organization? And how are they learning from each other? And really implement this in a way to where they're becoming better at their jobs. And if they're not becoming better at their jobs with AI, then like this doesn't really matter.
There's a miss. Randy brought it up a couple weeks ago. It's a good point. The prompt library, the prompt repository, like I feel he was spot on though. I feel like that was the biggest miss in this.
Yeah.
And a lot of us were writing like Google find, something quick. And now, we have the prompt library. I think I've one that's like 500 words.
Yep, exactly.
And, what do you have any tips around navigating that world? Because again, nobody really taught us what good was.
Yeah, of course.
We just had to get our, engineers to kind of open up our eyes going, hey, this. And we're like, oh my God, save,
Yep.
How are you navigating around the just writing a good prompt?
Yeah, good prompts are about being as specific as you can on the things that are needed for the problem. So to me, it's like, all right, hey, you're trying to build a piece of content. I only really let certain people who know how to build content write content prompts. Mm-hmm. They're the ones that need to write it because they know about the different angles. They know about the different checkpoints that you need the content to have. They know about all the different color grading or whatever the case may be for if you're producing an image, a video, whatever the case. You still need to have the experts to get all the information out of their head to write a good prompt. The biggest thing is that like you just can't be generic. You have to find ways to be as niche and specific as possible for what it is you want.
It's hard,
but it's very difficult. And I think at the end of the day, people have to give themselves grace. It's like, hey, we're all learning this at the same time. But the problem with that is that we're coming to a point where companies are realizing everybody doesn't need to use AI. And the reason that is because like you give AI to somebody who's a novice, they're going to spend most of your token spend asking the same question 50 different times. Yeah. And it's just like, what an engineer can do with AI versus what junior level SDR can do with AI is not the same. So they shouldn't have the same type of access because they're not solving the same type of problems. And we're getting to that point where not only are you seeing these companies having to rehire people, but you're also seeing where people, you're also seeing where it's like, actually, everybody doesn't need this. We need AI for these sets of problems and for this area of our workforce. And while it can be helpful for some of these other things, how do we build the agents for these departments to where they can just deploy these agents and it takes care of some of those things? Right. So you're starting to see the democratization and the systemization, I would say, rather, of AI starting to be involved with agents, as you mentioned before.
Yeah, and that's and that's the knowledge transfer. And I think that's why, every industry's got their own use cases. Mm-hmm. And I think what we've been doing, at least, is starting off going, I love what sucks meetings. They're my favorite. Yeah. If you can have the relationship with someone where you can just sit back and go, what sucks? And they can just dump on you. and you can go, hey, by the way, there's this thing. Did you know about? And just getting like starting there.
Yeah.
You know, and because like every industry's got their own thing.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people waste a lot of time digesting things where we can get, you know, I was talking about the other day, one of the first use cases we ever did, I was when Google LM broke, or notebooklm.google. To me, that was the game changer because they were the first notebook, at least that I knew about.
Yeah.
So now, we used to have a team of 10 people watching the quarterly report and pulling down the 10K, watching the town hall. And now I just dumped the YouTube in. I dumped the 10K in. I said, give me a change from Q2 to Q3, summarize the town hall, and then put it in a digestible one pager and give me a 15-minute podcast to listen to on the car ride or on the bike or whatever. And we just saved 10 people 2 hours, like 20 hours of work, not work. We were all sitting in a meeting, and then we'd have a 30-minute debrief.
Yep.
Cut that down to 15 minutes. So, I mean, when you could do stuff like that, that was early on.
Absolutely.
But like coming up with the use cases, I think so. Like, when you're covering different industries, right? And all of them are different. Like, how are you staying ahead? Because I mean, this world's changed. We're on a rocket ship, man. We're holding on. We're on the outside of the rocket ship. We're holding on with a belt.
Yeah, I think when it comes to staying ahead, like there's only a small percentage of people that are doing what we're doing. There's only a small percentage of people that are actually learning about this every day.
You think?
I know.
Okay.
It's
fair.
There are tons of people I talk to who have not even opened ChatGPT and know how to actually use it, and that's the most basic.
Other than Google.
Yeah, other than Google. Yeah. And I mean, like, especially being here in America, I also have seen that like we are very AI front loaded. So a lot of people here are light years ahead of maybe what you may get from someone in Thailand. Like a lot of them haven't even opened an LLM yet. And it's also depending on where you're working, right? Like you work for a software company, I work for a social company. Yep. I was using AI in 2023. Most people didn't even start using AI until 2025.
Right.
So it's just like, okay, cool.
I was using it improperly, but I knew it existed.
You know what I'm saying? We knew it existed. Like we knew these tools were there to help us move faster and do things, but we're still in the early days. Like it's still the wild, wild west. Nothing is really democratized just yet. And it's still why you're going to see, I think, a lot of people who really understand systems and can set up systems around their niches become like not just 6-figure people, but become 7- and 8-figure people very quickly with doing 10% less of the world.
If you can figure out corporate sales, like I want to talk.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Like I'm very relationship focused. I can have more information at my fingertips, which makes me smarter, better.
Of course.
But you can't AI your way into or out of a relationship. You just can't. It's just, you got to go out and slap backs and shake hands. You have to go meet people. So, I mean, the one thing I hated, it wasn't AI, but what was that plugin that we always, Crystal?
Oh yeah.
Where it would basically go through your LinkedIn and it would tell me how you like to be talked to and what you like. And to be honest, I'd rather just ask.
Yeah.
If the 28-year-old SDR wants to come up, and go, I understand you're into world traveling.
Cool.
And you're right. Like, we get those all the time. Like the AI, like I listened to your podcast with Zander and it was interesting when and you could clearly tell he put it through
of course,
but it takes that, again, the inauthenticity takes it down and out. So like using it properly. And again, though, we're writing the book as we're flying the rocket. Like
for sure.
He thought he was a brilliant, and then I'm rolling my eyes.
Yeah.
And I don't tell him it's bad, so he's doing it again.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course. That's just what it is. I mean, as you said it perfectly, we're building the plane as we're flying it. But I think the other piece that people are missing is that we're living in the age of automation, but it's also being parallel with authenticity, which is interesting. So it's like automation is what's going to help you move faster and potentially scale. But authenticity is really what's going to get you in the door and allow you to stay. And it's like, I think before AI has taken off and automation and all of this, it was strictly like the more authentic you are, the better jobs you'll get, the better jobs, and not necessarily better in pay, but they'll be more aligned with you and how comfortable you'll be and things of that nature. When it comes to content, if you're more authentic, people will listen more because they can really connect and you'll get real fans and not just people that want to follow. But now we're in the age where both of them are sitting at the same state. and people are teetering on which is which when really you have to have both in order to truly be successful.
For content, I like to not to disclaimer it, but I will say here is my capture of the meeting notes using Copilot.
Of course.
Like I'm not gonna say like here are my notes from this meeting, because again, if you try to pass that shit off,
Of course.
you're gonna get looked at sideways. I thought at one point, I'm curious to get your take. Like I said, I didn't want any emails to go out that I didn't write.
Yeah.
Authenticity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I did put a little disclaimer. This email was human generated, and they're like, "Don't you sell AI solutions every day? Like, are you belittling?" And so, like, not everyone looked at it the same way I did.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I peeled it, but now I'm just like, if I do something in a tool, I will, I'm trying to think of like as a disclaimer almost.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of people were doing that. I'm more of the age of like, I really don't care. Like, to be perfectly honest, like at some point, it's like you're bashing me for using M dashes, but it is proper grammar and is the way I should be writing. But you're mad because I'm not making mistakes as a normal human would. Miss me with that, please. Like,
He always
it
talks
doesn't
about
matter.
he actually typed with him back because I'm like,
Yeah.
who uses those? And Randy goes like, I do.
I do. Like, yeah, Randy was a good writer. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I was
thanks,
not.
Randy. Like, yeah. So it's just kind of like, yeah, at some point, everybody's going to have their opinion on something because it's new. People are going to say what they're going to say. But for me, what was really important about AI, even when it comes to writing content, going back to your point about prompting.
Yeah.
So what I do is that I'll use like a whisper flow, or I'll talk directly in a Claude or ChatGPT, and I talk everything to it first. And then I have it create a prompt for me based on what I need. But my input is all authentically my experience and what I said and how I said it. But then the prompt is created for me based on that. And then I enter that prompt and get the result.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around that idea of like you ask the AI to make the prompt that's in your new feedback into the AI to do the thing you want. Why can't it just act on the thing you initially said instead of?
Because it iterates better. So the thing about AI, I think what makes it really good is that when you're using things like, so for instance, I'll maybe dictate through Whisperflow or ChatGPT because it knows my tone really well. But then I'll take that prompt and I'll put it in a Claude just because it creates better professional documents. So it's like, it's just depending on what AIs you're using for what. But what I've realized is that the stuff from one AI, another AI will take and iterate on it and make it better. And it's like, oh, they're like, and usually Claude is like, man, this is actually a really good prompt. Thank you for this. And it's like, all right, cool.
I do rewrite. When it comes out, I go rewrite in my tone and my voice.
Exactly. For
And then it
content,
comes
yeah.
out, then I look at it going, oh, I think you have to like do it again,
Yeah.
like rewrite it so it's not so
Of course.
stuffy, rewrite
Yeah.
it so it's,
But let me ask you this, because
Yeah.
you guys are content guys. Does perfection actually matter?
no, I don't. So we have a long standing tradition on this show that we never edit out ums and ahs.
Yeah, of
Because if I ever sit at the bar and meet you and then all of a sudden I'm stuttering or I'm umming and ahhing, I want what I put out into the world to be reflective of who I was. I'm not going to say I didn't take classes and listen and try to perfect how I spoke, because I have, but I didn't want anything edited out.
Yeah.
Even kind of, I think a couple of times, what Tom Lawrence he was on, and like someone smacked the side of the shipping container and there's a band playing and I just froze. And I don't even think did you edit that? I think I just leave
There
it
have
in.
been times when I've edited out where we lose track of what we're trying to discuss, and then we're like, let's backtrack a
That's
little. And,
one out of-
yeah, but yeah,
2 seconds out of 30 hours.
Of course.
You know what I mean? This is not an edited show.
No. And I mean, and the point of that, I think for me, is that like, it goes back to what we said before. It's progression over perfection. Yeah. Everybody loves a story. They love to see where you started and where you got to and what happened all in between and how it is. And like, that's just what it is.
But your social media is perfect. That's been the knock on like Instagram. This is your curated, what you want to show. Mm-hmm. You're never going to put out that, I messed up or I did something stupid.
Let's see, the best content creators do.
Right.
That's
right,
the key. The best content creators show you the mistakes. It makes them relatable. It makes them real.
you could become one of those 24-hour live streamers where there's a camera on you all the time.
For sure. And as long as you're consistent.
It's the last
what
thing
it
this
is.
world needs.
8
to
hours
see.
of you
Yes.
farting every night and sleep. And
That's what I was. You know what? That was my beef with
Just letting it rip.
the show 24. I'm like, for the next 8 weeks, he sleeps.
yeah.
Like if it was actually 24, and I go, then in the next show, he's stuck in LA rush hour for an hour, and then for the first 15 minutes, he's on the toilet.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna make a show real, make it real. I hate to crystal ball question you,
Sure.
but like
Go
you
for
I
it.
feel like you're ahead of it more so than most 90% of the people I've talked to here. But like, do you got anything crystal ball? Like what's like, is there anything coming up? Because I mean, this world's changing every 15 minutes.
For sure.
Once you're on Perplexity Computer, then all of a sudden 3 other tools are coming out.
Yeah. I think the people who take their time are going to win.
Okay.
The people who take their time are going to win for sure. And I think like we're in the state where it's speed, fail as fast as you can, iterate.
Yeah.
I think the people who wait and find the opening are the ones that are actually going to truly hit it big.
It's tough to have a vision. We had a guy on here. He took me to lunch.
Yeah.
He wanted to get my take. And I said, it's great. And by the time he got on the podcast a month later, he goes, I'm not even launching it. The world already passed.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
crazy.
that's what a lot of people are worried about
Yeah,
is if I sit, if you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like this whole thing's getting caught up. A guy, the guys that talked the other day, they have this idea and it's a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
By the time I go right now, do it. Because if you don't, the world's going to 3 months.
but that's what they want you to think.
You think?
Yeah, I mean, think about the old story we all know, the turtle and the hare. Like at the end of the day, the hare moves the fastest, but the turtle is what runs the race.
You're not wrong.
And I think like we're in this age where it's about speed and iterating. But the faster you go, the easier you can be duplicated.
I think the philosophy goes, and I've brought it up before, and it's interesting how tech is different. You don't hear the Jersey Mike's going, well, I can't open up a sandwich spot because there's Subway.
No,
I can't open up because like there's 14 other ones.
no.
You know what I mean? Tech, I think there's like, oh, that idea already exists. I can't do it.
Yeah. Because the thing is that like it's not about the product. And that's what most people are missing with AI. It's not about any product you create. It's about the process that you create in order to create products. The process is really what AI is about. Like everybody's going to have the opportunity to create their own operating systems. And people don't understand how powerful that is. Because if you create an operating system that works directly for Bob Dub and it works perfect for you,
Yeah.
you could be sitting at home basically doing nothing all day. It was the same thing with like when I was at LinkedIn in my career. Because I was so authentically me, I landed into roles that were all me. My last role in LinkedIn, I was a character on our TikTok. I was the main host for all of our virtual programming on our LinkedIn for Creators page. And I coached basically some of the top podcasters. And I just would talk to them like this.
Mm-hmm.
But this was me. So like for me, I kind of felt like I only worked like 6 hours a week. But it was just like, it was so tailored to who I was because of how authentic I was and because how well I got to know myself, my skill set, and what I needed in order to be dangerously effective.
Sure.
That it allowed me to just operate in like, if you watch Dragon Ball Z, he has like this ultra instinct phase where he gets at the end where it's just a natural flow state, like your
that
true
your stuff?
zone of genius.
No, I can't stand Dragon
So
Ball Z.
it's just like, yo, so it's like, this is what we all have the opportunity to do. So to me, it was like, sit with yourself, learn yourself really well, and then understand where AI can pick up in the spaces that you may not gain the most energy from.
Right.
And then find ways to like amplify that, find ways to allow it to make you better. Now, what I'm seeing a lot of CEOs that are doing, and I think a lot of people who are really taking AI to the next level, they're learning from it. And most people are using it to automate tasks, to do certain tasks, but some of these top CEOs are actually using it to learn more, to be better, even though they're already at the top, which is crazy.
So we had Adam Youngblood on. He's a solutions architect for one of the big cloud guys,
Mm-hmm.
and he's been immersed in this world since it started. And his takeaway mic drop, and I thought it was kind of brilliant because I didn't think about this either. He's like, too many people are giving it tasks, not enough people are talking to it or asking it questions. He goes, if you just end every prompt in "Am I missing something?"
Yep.
It'll open up a world that you might
Think
not
about.
know was possible, right?
Exactly.
Because we only know what we know.
Exactly.
And if you're not learning, so like the fact that you just brought that up too, like the CEOs, like learning from it, like what am I missing?
Yep.
Like to be that parrot on your shoulder going, look left real quick. There's
Yep.
something coming at you and you
Yep.
can't see it. I mean, that's the game changer, at least in my world.
Yeah, same way. And I would say this, and I would add to it, is that is the game changer with any piece of technology that's ever been created over the past 30 years, from .com to social media to now where we're at now. We get closer and closer and closer to all the information at our fingertips at a faster rate every single time.
Yep.
So when you think about social media, it's like, it's much easier to find that super dope burger spot if you just look on TikTok and you see like, oh, what's the best burgers in whatever. You look on, for me, it's Google Maps. I use Google Maps wherever I go to find like, what are the best restaurants, where are the best places to do my laundry, whatever the case may be. And I use the rating systems. I use the reviews. I use what still other people are saying about it and how they've ranked it in the most recent experiences. And now with AI, it's like what you said before, it's an opportunity to be exposed. The key is like, when do you know that you have enough to be good for where you are? Because I think that's the key with all of these companies. Like when you think about it, most of these companies are adopting AI. It wasn't like they weren't growing. Like even these companies we're working with, they were growing 15, 20% year over year. They just bought AI just because everybody else was buying it and they felt like they were getting left behind. But it was like, dude, like you just grew an extra 300 million last year. Mm-hmm. When is enough enough? And I think that is what's really interesting, because the people who realize that, I bet you we're going to have a lot of people who were displaced that were very high corporate performers. They will take this AI, become entrepreneurs, do only 15% of the work they were doing. And if they figure out what their number is and what they're good at, it'll be cool.
Didn't we just say there's the first solo billionaire?
Yeah.
That had just happened.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And selling popsicles. Like, what are you doing? Like,
that's it.
No, see, like that's what we're thinking. Like, we sit, like, since I've been 20 years old, we've been sitting at the bar going, what's the next big thing?
Yeah.
And, it's execution's 99% of it. The ideas are easy. My old Japanese boss, he said, there's always needs to be two, one to know where to dig for water and one to dig.
Yeah.
And he goes, if you don't have the one that knows where to dig, you can just sit and dig dirt all day and you're not going to find anything. So it's like, it's execution. Yes.
It's execution. And I think like what you said earlier about speed and doing things, that has its place and it has its merit. If you don't start, you'll never get going.
Yeah.
It's like, if you don't start, you have no shot at perfection. It's like what we say, shooters shoot, right? Like if you're a shooter, you got to shoot that thing, bro. Like it don't matter if you code, like keep shooting. Yeah. It's like if you're a shooter, keep shooting, because at some point you're going to hit a streak.
Yeah.
And when you hit a streak, like you think about, you can feel it. And think about the Colonel, right? You only got to be right one time. I think about the gentleman that started Calendly. He's a gentleman from Nigeria. If you know his story, he actually failed at his first 3 or 4 businesses. And he was the story of like what you mentioned about your buddy. They were working in corporate. They went and tried something, lost all their money, came back to corporate. He was that guy. But then like what he did was he really just simplified the problem that he was trying to solve, which was like, man, I'm so tired of having to book these meetings because I don't have an assistant. He created Calendly. It was super simple. Now he's a billionaire. But this is like his 4th business. The first 3 failed.
And it's ubiquitous.
Yeah,
it's almost a verb at this point.
Yeah, it's super simple. Yeah. So those are the things that I think a lot of people miss, is that the best business ideas are usually the most simple things that are sitting right in front of you, because they're the most relatable. It's just what it is about. So yeah.
Fix some problems.
Yep.
Zander, we could, like, the good ones, we always say I could sit here till 4 more hours sitting and talking. But you got 2 more friends in Detroit now for your global network. Appreciate you having on. Check you out at notranslation.co.
Yes,
Zander Van Gogh on LinkedIn. I'm sure you don't ignore the request. So we'll put you in the show notes. Mm-hmm. We're going to wrap things up for this episode of the IT in the Detail. Speaking of having a brain fart real quick. Yeah. On behalf of Bob and Randy, do us all a favor. Drink up your drinks. Get your phone numbers. You don't got to go home. You just got to get the hell out of here. See you next week. Drive careful.
Ciao, guys.